Well, hey there, and welcome to Unmistakably You. I am Amy, and I am so excited to be here tonight with you and just getting everything hooked up here. Waiting for my Instagram to kick in. There we go. All right, maybe we're getting better at this. There's hope for this old dog yet. Welcome to Wedding Wednesday. And as always, I am here to talk to you about things that you may be experiencing in your wedding planning right now. Last week, if you joined us, we were talking about 2024 trends. So if you are in the space where you're starting to think about the aesthetics of your wedding, some of the things that you're going to incorporate in terms of the experiences for your guests and yourselves, and you didn't catch that one, you might want to head back and see if you can catch the replay. It's posted on YouTube. It's in our Facebook archives, and somewhere I'm sure you can find it on Instagram. I think it's actually posted in our reels right now. But today, I wanted to kind of continue a similar-ish trend and talk about where to focus your decor dollars for big impact. Now, if you are just starting to plan your wedding, you might be starting to think about how to allocate the budget. If that's the case, I know budget is a four-letter word in wedding world, so we are here to help you. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out, amy@unmistakably.com. We also have an awesome workshop coming up to help you figure out all of those things about how to put your money in places where it will make the most impact. Today, specifically, we're talking about decor impact. Now, if you have all the dollars, make all the impact, cool. You don't even have to worry about it. But I'm here today to talk to you about how to make a smart impact and investment with those decor dollars if you are somewhat limited in how much you have to spend on decor. So let's dive into three major things I think you need to think about if you want to have a very luxurious wedding where people are wowed, but not completely break the bank on all things budget. So first and foremost, we want to think about that's not the right slide. Why did it do that? There we go. About the focal points. So you're going to probably want to put most of your decor energy and budget into the places where guests are going to have their attention focused most. Now, those tend to be your ceremony and your head table. That's where you and your partner will be spending the lion's share of your time. That's where most of the photographs that are taken of the two of you that aren't your actual formal, photo shoot photos, that's where most of those photos are going to be taken. So you're going to want to make sure that those spaces have a big impact. Now, of course, if you have two different spaces, it may be difficult to allocate budget to both of those. And there are lots of things to think about here. I mean, perhaps if you're getting married in a church, perhaps it's a beautiful church that doesn't need a lot of decor, and that kind of gets you out of that one. If you are in a space where potentially you can transfer your decor from your ceremony to your head table, that's ideal because you're going to get the best bang for your buck there if you can actually utilize the decor or the florals in a couple of different ways. So maybe you have beautiful altar flowers that then can flank your head table or can be reconfigured as we did at this wedding that I'm showing you right now. We used those altar flowers and rejigged them to flank the head table and make a beautiful frame for the couple as they were eating their dinner. We also sometimes will reconfigure those aisle arrangements to act as centerpieces. So you can really do double duty there if you have a team that's able to move those things for you between the ceremony and the reception. Of course, if your space is conducive to it, if you're in two different locations, there's some logistical planning involved in terms of how to transport these things safely and to reassemble them so that they still look beautiful. But trying to focus a lot of energy on those places where guests' attention is going to be directed towards the two of you throughout the evening is definitely going to stand you in good stead where it comes to big, impactful decor. Now, you also may want to devote some of your budget to some show-stopping florals. Now, if you're not a flower person, totally cool. I am. Those of you who've been around for a while know I love my flowers. And we've got this trend lately of these large trees. These actually were some that we did a number of years ago in Grand Bend, but beautiful, and they're definitely popular again now. Maybe you're looking for large floral arrangements. Maybe you're looking for really lush runners like the ones on the right. There are definitely ways to go big on those. You can put large florals on every table and really beautiful full runners on every table if the budget allows. But pro tips, if the budget doesn't allow, maybe you want to actually alternate 2 or 3 different centerpiece styles so that you still do get those big, lush, show-stopping arrangements, but you're alternating with perhaps something a little bit more affordable on other tables. You're going to create that impact without having such a big budget. And it also legitimately, in addition to saving you budget, is just more interesting, I think, for guests to have a little bit something different to kind of draw their eye through the room. You could, of course, look at renting arrangements, which is usually more affordable than fresh if that doesn't fall within your budget, but you still want that big, impactful look. Or if you're going for that garland look that is still very popular, thanks to Pinterest, you will find that garlands tend to be pretty expensive per linear foot just because of the sheer amount of time it takes to put them together. So what you might want to talk to your florist about is using flat lay greens instead. So you can weave loose greens among candles, among bud vases, among the other components of your tablescape, and still create that greenery effect without the big price tag of a garland. If you're still looking for some ideas to have some beautiful florals or greenery without breaking the bank, a couple of other pro tips for you here. I love the idea, and we've done it a couple times, of using herbs as centerpieces. You can create something really stunning and very full of texture with different varieties of herbs. And the bonus there is that then perhaps if they're individually potted, you could send them home with guests as favors, and boom, you've got decor that does double duty as a favor, which I always love. If you want that big, lush floral look, you may want to talk to your florist about which blooms are more affordable during the wedding season that you're getting married in, and mass together. It looks always very chic and sophisticated to have masses of one single bloom, especially if that bloom is a large bloom that takes up a lot of space. Roses are absolutely stunning, but they tend to be a little bit smaller and perhaps a little bit more expensive per stem than something that fills up more space that might be more cost effective. The one in the middle here is baby's breath, but you could achieve a similar look with any kind of flower that you like. You also may want to consider spray painting some dried elements depending on the theme and the aesthetic of your wedding. I'm a huge fan of spray paint. I spray paint everything. Just ask my husband. I think I use his paint mask more than he does. But if you happen to be having a fall or a winter wedding, it would be absolutely beautiful to spray paint some, dried teasel if you can find it, or dried leaves, whatever organic elements you like, to spray paint those and mass them together to create that same show-stopping effect at a fraction of the price. The other area where I would advise you to devote some attention and some decor impact are the interactive elements. So those are the places where guests are going to be spending some time looking. So your seating chart, your guest book, your bar signage, for instance. So people will stop and pay attention to those things. And you might want to focus a little bit more attention on maybe creating an interesting decor vignette with some candles and florals in the area where your guest book is, because guests are definitely going to be stopping there to sign your guest book. You might want to make your guest book itself a creative piece that will create some discussion among your guests and be memorable. Same thing with the bar signs. I don't know if you can read the bar signs here, but this particular one was brought to the guests by the couple's dogs who couldn't be there. So finding ways to incorporate your personalities, your hobbies, interesting little inside jokes with those elements of the wedding that guests are going to spend some time interacting with. Those are definitely going to be some impactful areas where you can devote a little bit more time and perhaps a little bit more budget to create that memorable impact on your guests. You also may want to create something that is a large installation, maybe your seating chart. The one that we're seeing here is made of just inexpensive photo frames that are glued together. We're also seeing a lot of welcome mirrors or photo mirrors, or the, hey, you look great, now grab a drink. These are super easy to create if you have anyone in your circle of friends who has a Cricut. The DIY thing is pretty simple there. And if you can find some thrift store items, mirrors, picture frames, maybe go to some garage sales, avail yourself of those Facebook Messenger or Facebook groups that are the buy and sell kind of things, where you can often get lots of pre-loved items that you can reuse and make a big impact in those areas where your guests are going to be interacting. So I would love to hear from you what you're planning for your decor. Drop me a comment, send me a DM, send me an email, amy@unmistakably.com. If you like talking about decor, if you're finding yourself stumped about decor, if you don't even know where to start, we've got your back on that too. We've got an upcoming decor workshop. We're going to teach you how to make sure that your wedding is beautiful and posh and cohesive instead of looking like a kindergarten craft. So that also is up on our website right now. If you're interested, we have a couple of spaces left, so you can pop on over to unmistakably.com/workshops. That's where we've got the budget workshop, the design workshop, and a whole bunch of other fun things that are certain to help you out if you are starting your wedding planning. As always, I hope that things are going smoothly, but if not, don't hesitate to reach out. And until next Wednesday, take care, happy planning, and I'll catch you then.